Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to the final speech competition of 2020. Yay! So first of all, I would like to say congratulations to all of you who made it to the final. Yay! Please send your emoticons, your clap emoticons. By the way, how are you guys feeling? You
I'm
can,
really
yeah,
nervous.
real nervous, but you made it to final. Who else want to share his or her feelings today? No one, or maybe the judges? Do you have, like encouraging words for the participants today?
Good luck.
Okay, in case if you forgot my name is Tita, and I'm here with my partner Cheza. Cheza, you're there?
Yeah, I'm right here. Hello.
So before we start our agenda today, I would like to remind you once again to fill the attendance list. If you haven't, then you better to do it now while you have the chance.
Okay, if you guys have submitted your attendance list, I would like to remind you all to open your camera so we can see your face. Thank you.
And now I'm going to explain about today's agenda, today's rundown. I will explain it briefly in bahasa. Oke, jadi nanti kita ada sekarang ini kan opening greeting, lalu nanti ada pembacaan agenda dan teknis pelaksanaannya, lalu ada pengundian dan pembacaan nomor urut peserta, lalu ada pengkondisian break room untuk peserta final, lalu nanti setelah di pengkondisian break room itu baru nanti kita mulai kompetisinya. Lalu nanti setelah kompetisi kita ada pidato dari judges, a few words from the judges sama sesi sharing. Lalu nanti setelah sesi sharing baru kita tutup acara kita hari ini.
All right, before we move on to the next agenda, we will pray together first. Pray start now. Pray finished. Right after this, we will draw your turn to the stage by spinning wheel that will be presented by the Zoom host. For the Zoom host, you may present the Okay, right now we will start to spin the wheel for the first. Miss Medita. Next, we will spin the wheel for the second participant. Okay, Miss Agnes Angela will be the second participant. Next, we will spin the wheel for the third participant. Okay, Miss Angelica Kaila will be the third participant. Now we will spin the wheel for the fourth participant. Okay, Miss Deborah Karen will be the fourth participant. And next, we will spin the wheel for the fifth participant. Okay, Mr. Billy Aufa will be the fifth participant. Next, we will spin the wheel for the sixth participant. Okay, Mr. Ray Abraham will be the sixth participant. Next, we will spin the wheel for the seventh participant. Miss Tayun will be the seventh participant. And next, we will spin the wheel for the eighth participant. Miss Nabila Rizky will be the participant. And now the wheel for the ninth participant. Okay, Miss Rinaka Gustafano will be the ninth participant. And automatically, the last participant will be Anika Fitriani, deliver the speech. Okay, the Zoom host will be, and we will begin the final speech competition in this main room. But before that, I have an announcement for you. During the competition, there will be 3 bells to indicate the time limit. The first bell will ringing if you have a minute left. The second bell will be indicating that you have only 30 seconds left. And the will be After your speech, the judges will be asking questions regarding your speech. And also, when the participants deliver their speech, the audience have to mute your speaker. Thank you.
When all the participants have already moved to the breakout room, we will be waiting for about 10 minutes before the first participant move back to the main room. Thank you and good luck for all the participants. Welcome for the first participant. Hi, are you there?
Hi, Kak. Yes.
Hi, okay. I will be explaining about the competition now. You will be given 6 minutes to deliver the speech, and after that, there will be a Q&A session with the judge. Okay?
Okay.
And, and before that, I remind you once again that there will be 3 bells that will be indicating your time limit.
Okay.
Okay. Understand?
Yep.
Okay. The time will be started when you say the first word. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Kak. It is a different world here now, huh? I remember when I was a little girl, I used to play hide and seeks. I used to play marbles. But what do kids do these days? They play phones. Even my cousins, who is only 3 years old, they're all playing iPhones. What does that mean? The world is moving fast and the world keeps changing. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to judges and dear committees. Thank you for allowing me to speak here. My name is Madeline Agita Tenardi and I proudly represent Institut Teknologi Bandung. These days, are you familiar with TikToks? I bet you do. Are you familiar with Twitter trends? I remember, I think 2 days ago, I saw a lot of Twitter trends that says Harry Styles or BTS. What does that also mean? Not only kids, but us too, what booming in this world we follow. If there is a style that is certainly what people usually wear, we just follow. Now, that certainly means that this world has an own pattern. What is the pattern? That everyone follows the trends. As an innovative youth, you have the choice. You are challenged with two choices. Do you want to create the trends or do you want to follow the trends? I remember I said the world is moving fast. If us as youth are not moving with the pace, we won't survive in this cruel world. What do you do? Initiate something, have a leadership mind, or be a follower. That's your choice. How do you know if you have a leadership mindset? I will give you an example. If you join an event, you take closely on what does that event do. I remember I joined something that is very, very amazing. And what I was thinking was, how did the committees prepare all of these? If you grow that mindset in your mind, if you pay attention to details, then I think you have a good leadership mindset. You are engaged to do something similar with that event, but in your own way. In the other words, you are engaged to create something new in your own way with your own names. But sometimes this cruel word create people to back off before they even started. They are scared of judgments, of challenges they need to face in this world. Why do people judge you? Because people are afraid of you. Because people are scared of you making movements and leading the way for them. Us as youth, us as innovators, us as people of tomorrow are not afraid of challenges. Challenges is just a glimpse of our next steps. Embrace and maximize your potential. If you have the chance, make the best out of all your chances you have in life. This is a life you live only once. I know you will want to maximize all your potentials. You will want to create something in this world. Just as simple as giving someone a first impression. If you give someone a first impression of bubbly, then it is most likely for you to have a lot of friends. As simple as another example, if you give a good example to kids below age, then people will start to follow you. The kids will start to follow you. If you give poor people money to eat, then your sisters, your little brothers will just follow you. That is also a good example of how people will follow you if you have good deeds. Remember how in the beginning I said there are always followers. Whatever you do, it will impact your next steps. Start with a good one. Then I know your pathway will be just as smooth. Giving a good first impression is the very simple example of how people will start to follow your steps based on what you do. You have two options: to follow or to initiate. To follow means to join people's steps, to join people's movements, to be a part of their dream. But to initiate means to join your steps, your own steps, to initiate your own dreams, to live your own expectations. And that is the most important. I believe people would want to live their expectations. I believe people will never want to disappoint themselves in the futures. Will you join someone or will you create your own impacts? The choice is yours. Just remember, we are the future. We are the hope. If we don't start the movement, who will? If you don't initiate your movement, will you follow? I bet you don't want. My name is Madeline. I am a proud Indonesian youth, and I am ready to mark my steps in this world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the passionate speech. Let's give an applause, everyone.
Thank you, Kak.
Okay, so now we will be moving on to the Q&A session. Given 3 minutes to ask the question, and the participant, you can also, you will answer in 3 minutes too. So, Judge, the time is yours.
Okay, hi Madeline.
Hi, Kak. Good morning.
Hi. So a very good invitation for the youths to maximize their potential. But just one short question from me, since the theme is about your own innovations impact to your tomorrow's life. My question would be, how about your own innovation? What have you done? Your own personal stories, because that is the one that I didn't hear from your speech. What is your own innovations and the impacts to your own tomorrow's life? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Kak Sabrina. Why I didn't mention it in my speech, because to be actually very honest, Kak, I haven't started my own movement. So I don't want to create any impression of me starting a movement because I haven't. But continuing my education in Institute Teknologi Bandung, I remember I mentioned how people are always innovating and people are always creating something. And this is what I feel too actually in ITB, where all of my friends are creating a lot of movement. And when I said, how do you know if you have a leadership mindset? When I said that you will have a feeling and you will engage to start something just in your way, that is what I currently feel. A lot of movements are there in ITB. I just haven't started my own because I still have preparations to do, but I do have in my mind what I want to do in the future. A little bit about what I do want to do in the future, Kak. I want to serve Indonesia. I want to go to remote areas to implement what I learned in ITB to actually really help people there. For example, I come from biomedical engineering, Kak, and that is what people in medicine and engineering background do. So basically, I really want to improve people's health with my inventions. It's kind of far and a high hope, but I hope with what I learned in ITB, it will help people in Indonesia because that's what I've been wanting to do, or just start with simple steps such as building solar energy for them or giving them a water access for them. But all of them are just still in my checklist, Kak. So it's basically still in my dream. That's why I didn't mention it, because I don't want to give people an impression of me already starting an innovation. And I think that's just what challenges me the most being in ITB and seeing that all of my friends are having these creative ideas to start something is making me what I really want to do as in improving Indonesia's health and with my engineering background. Thank you, Kak.
Thank you, Madeline.
Thank you, Kak, for the question.
Okay, Judge, is there any question? Another question for the participant?
That's all from me.
Oh, okay.
Are
Sorry.
you ready?
Okay, then let's move on to the next participant. So Madeline, you can stay in the main room, but mute your audio. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Kak. Thank you so much, committees, for the chance to speak here.
Yes. Okay, for the second participant, are you here?
Yes, I'm
Okay, right now you will be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech, and then after that, there will be a Q&A session with the judge. And also, I remind you once again that there will be 3 bells that indicate your time limit. Understood?
okay.
Okay. So the time will be started when you say the first word, okay?
Okay.
Good luck.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. A very familiar name. He composed more than 600 pieces on his lifetime. All of the unique pieces, unique symphonies, beautiful music that we still listen until this day. Some people even say that they didn't know that music can sound like that until they hear Mozart play. Now everybody says that he is a prodigy. But one thing that we often forget is that geniuses weren't born. They were created. Mozart was 6 years old when he performed in the imperial courts. But at what cost? He lost his childhood, all his youth. All that he ever knew was to write music, to create symphonies. But for him, it was an act of perseverance. Because of what he did, he saw so many things in the music world that any normal people may not have seen, because he have done so many of composing, so many of performing, that he knows things that maybe the other musicians couldn't really see. Now, I have a friend that thinks she's not smart. But for me and my other friends, we think that she is very, very much smart. But when we ask her, why do you think that you're not smart? She tells us that because I don't know a lot of things. There are so many things in the world that I still haven't figured out. But to me, being smart doesn't always have to mean that you have to be smart in a lot of things, have to be smart in everything. You can be smart in one thing and still be very smart at it. Because by the end of the day, if you're being passionate about something and you work for the thing that you're passionate about, perseverance can bring you new perspectives, can bring you to see the amazing world of the field that you have been working on, that maybe the others people can never see if they didn't spend that much time on it. You see, maybe in our lives, we often get distracted by little things that we see along the way. When we observe new things, we see someone else that is good at something that we are not, and then we go, oh my God, I'm useless. But no, guys, as long as you keep sticking to work on what you love, what you're passionate about, then you will become an expert in that field. And by that, you will be able to see something, a new original idea that can only be brought by yourself, that can gradually be built amongst your hard work, your perseverance throughout the years. And I'm telling you guys that your sacrifices for other things, when you focus on one thing that you love, it will pay. So today, I would like to remind all of us here that it's okay to not know a lot of things. As long as you have one thing that you really want to put some care on, that you really want to work on, and therefore you work hard for it, you can be a genius in it. Thank you.
Okay, let's give Miss Agnes an applause. And right now we will be moving on to the Q&A session. The judge will be given 3 minutes to ask their question, and the participant will be given 3 minutes to answer.
Right. Hi, Agnes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
All
I can
right.
hear you.
First of all, thank you for your speech. I would like to ask, when it comes to achieving greatness, as you mentioned, there is some sacrifice. Now, how do you know when that sacrifice is worth it, or how do we know when it's something we have to let go? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arjun. So we are all different, distinct individuals. We all have our own values that we keep in our hearts. Each one of us will keep different values about different things. So when it comes to being worth it, it can only come back to your own heart. Just ask yourself, which one do you value the most? Which one are you willing to sacrifice for the other thing? And the answer can come only from your own heart. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Agnes, for the answer.
For Sabrina, do you have a question towards our participant now?
No, Dita, thank you. We'll take turns.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay then. So Miss Agnes, you can stay in the main room to watch the next participant, but please mute your audio. Thank you. For the third participant, are you here?
Yes, hello, am I audible?
Okay, so right now you will be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech, and then after that,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last sentences.
after you speak your speech, spoken your speech, you will have a Q&A session with the judge.
Okay.
Okay, and before that, I remind you once again that there will be 3 bells that will indicate your time limit.
Okay.
So the time will be started when you say the first word.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, honorable judges, Kak Sabina, Kak Arjun, and also the respected audience. I hope that you are all doing well today. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for this wonderful chance that I could deliver my speech and also express my opinion about being an innovative young leader right now in this competition. So, since junior high school, I could say that I had continuously exposed to numerous leadership training programs. If I could name one, it would be The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It it is probably one of the most popular leadership training program on also based on leadership books sold out there in the world. So I could say that since a quite young age, uh, I am as a millennial um, is expected to be a young leader. Um, in that in that training program, I could say that I remember that we were trained to be a proactive youth, to seek what others understand, to be understood, and so on. So what come to my mind when I joined that training program is why millennial? Why is it millennials that was expected to be the young leader, to be the next leader? Well, as we all know, the world has changed. It has shifted from what the older generation said at the beginning. At probably what they said is, "I have a better experience of living than you are." When in my time, the world was a better place. That there has not been many destruction, and also the global situation, the the climate was not really as bad as it is now, and so on. So what I can conclude from that is we as a millennial are faced with so many difficult situations. Let's say like global warming, economic downturn, even this coronavirus pandemic. So what came to my mind is actually that we are the ones who are responsible to those situations, and we are the ones who are expected to have the innovation to fix those things and create a greater place for all of us, for not just the millennials but also the older generations and the next generation that are still coming. So when I was a kid, I liked to watch this movie called Spy Kids. It is basically it is basically the kids who are trained to be a spy. And what can I remember the most from that movie is when the young spy asked the adult spy, like, why did you recruit us children to be the spies? Why don't you just recruit another adult and other things? uh what I could remember the most is actually when the adult spy said to the kids, you as a young children, you have limitless imagination. You have the thought that probably the adult wouldn't have thought of. You have the idealism to create something that probably the adults will think like that was impossible and so on. And that would make me think that we as a millennial, we have that idealism to create a better world that probably the older generations would have the a limitation to think of. And not just to have those idealism, as a young leader, we also have the responsibility to make those idealism come true, to so we can have this better situation for our next generation. And the last thing that questioned me until today is why me? Why do I have to be that innovative young leader that everyone is expecting me to be? actually, to be honest, until now, I am still figuring that out. Every single seconds in my life, in my current life, I am still questioning that and still looking for the answer. But for now, what I can think of, what I can conclude from my life experiences is, if it's not me, if it's not you all, then who else is going to be the leader? I am Angelica Kaila, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Miss Kyla. Let's give an applause for Miss Kyla. Okay, so now we will be moving on to the Q&A session. The judge can ask their question in 3 minutes.
Hi, Kayla.
Hello.
Thank you. Hi. Well, you were talking about idealism, current world situation that you were born in, and then your experience in gaining leadership skill from your training as well. So I think what I would like to ask to you is that, because you mentioned that the youths have the youths can think about the things that the adults cannot. So what is actually your idealism? You were talking about idealism. What is your idealism in relation to the current world situation, and how can your leadership and innovation skill helps you to realize your idealism right now? Maybe it doesn't have to be something that you have done. It's just perhaps your ideas or something that you plan or something that you really want to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Kasabrina. About my idealism. So a little bit about my background. I am an economics student in University of Indonesia. And since the very first grade of senior high school, I had the thought of being an economics student for a quite unique and idealist a reason. That is because I want to contribute to Indonesian economics. And also, why didn't I chose another major such as like accounting or management, is because when at that point of life, I thought that in the economic I could contribute more in the country as in the macroeconomics. So that is probably my idealism until now, which is, well, clearly I haven't done it yet because I am still a freshman. I'm still in the first year of university, but I really have the thought that I am responsible for Indonesian next economic situation. Like, as we all know, we've been experiencing a downturn, a recession because of this pandemic, and I feel like it is my duty to just like create a better economic situation so all of the Indonesians could be more wealthy and have a better living cost and so on. So by joining those training programs and also by looking at what other people, what the older generations and also the current generations mindset about this change, about how to be a leader, I could see that the way to realize my idealism is something that I am still building until right now. Something that I am still planning to create the perfect strategy so I could realize it in a good way. Because I feel like I am still my knowledge is not that much. I am still young. I mean, I am still new in this economic major and so on there. Uh, and the main thing that make me think like that is because there are a lot of people. There are a lot of amazing people, amazing leader out there that I have met and I have not met yet, and that is why I am still looking for many other many other inspiration for those amazing people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Kyla. So now you can stay in the main room, but mute your audio so it won't disturb the next participant.
Thank you very much.
Welcome our fourth participant. Are you here? Miss Deborah, are you here? Miss Deborah?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, am I frozen?
No?
Okay, I'm audible, right?
Yeah. So right now you'll be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech, and after that we will be having Q&A session with the judge.
Okay, sure.
And I remind you once again that there will be 3 bells that indicate your time limit. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, and the time will be started when you say the first word, when you start saying the first word, okay?
Got it.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, let me adjust my camera first. Ladies and gentlemen, raise your hands if you love elephants. Cool, I see some hands over here. I love elephants myself too. But there was this one thing about elephants and a story that I had when I was a kid that turned life-changing for me to this day. Let me tell you. So one day when I was in a zoo with my dad, I walked across this huge path that had huge elephant in it. And it was just standing still. It was just huge and it was just standing still. And so I thought, why is it standing still? Why isn't it moving away? I look at the master and then I ask, sir, why is the elephant standing still? And then he told me, because he was tied to this rope. The rope was small, the rope was brown, the rope was fragile, especially compared to the size of the elephant. And so I asked him again, how could you possibly constrain this big dude with this very small rope? And then he looked at me again and said, Miss, during their childhood, when they were still physically small, this rope was more than enough to contain them in silence. And so when they were growing up, they were conditioned to believe that this rope will forever be their prison. Then they will never try to break free. Ladies and gentlemen, do you ever have this moment in your life when you're trying to relate yourself to the big elephant, someone that has so many skills, so big of a interest and achievements and accomplishment and dreams in your head, but you are tied to something? I know that I had this moment personally. Not long ago, when I was in freshman year, I was going through my devastating moment. I was competing in many short story writing competitions. I kept submitting my short story drafts on and on and on again for almost 1 year. And I never won, not once, the competitions of that short story writing. So I started to believe in myself that I cannot do this. I cannot be someone that contributes something back to not only my faculty, but myself in terms of literature interest. And so I lived within this constraint. I was the big elephant that had so much skill, in my hands, so much ideas, so much new things to invent and give through my short story writings and my interest in literature. But I have tied myself to the rope, thinking that due to these failures, I cannot do anything. But the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, innovating and being an innovative youth, in my own opinion, is to create a new idea, a new thought, a new alteration in yourself, as I previously mentioned in my previous speeches. To think creatively and innovatively is to look at things differently. And based on my experiences, I have gained more and more knowledge in thinking innovatively, in thinking what can we do as a young generations to become more innovative. And I will tell you today, there are only two key points that I have found in my own version to become an innovative millennial generation. And that is first to manifest, and second, to put into action. Manifestation is something that is familiar to all of us young generations. I'm sure that when you are a millennial, you know how to scroll Twitter, you know how to scroll Instagram, you know how to look at memes. And I do believe that you've come across the word of manifestation. Manifestation is a state where you believe in yourself in accordance with your dream. So let's say that you have a dream to become a writer someday, contributing something new to the Literature Society of Indonesia, or you have a dream to become a teacher someday, contributing something new to the educational system of Indonesia. You have to manifest and act in accordance with that. Because ladies and gentlemen, if you are unable to believe in yourself, how could you possibly hope for these people that surrounded you, your family, your friends, your enemies, your peers, your instructors and lecturers to believe in you? And that was the first step that I finally take. I manifested in myself and I thought, I know that I'm an innovative youth. I can invent something new. I can invent a new literary works, even though it may not be going through the short story competition. I may not be titled champion in this short story competition. And the second point is to act. Because manifestation without action is simply wishful thinking. And this is also something that I applied and practiced through my devastating moment. After I believed in myself internally, I started to make actions. I started to see things in a very creative and innovative way. I started to see, okay, so if I can't win short story writing, what can I do to contribute back a new idea, a new passion, a new interest and skill that I have? What more can I do to invent something new to the society? And that, my friend, leads me to today's performance. I am standing to you here today as a public speaker. I found public speaking competitions. I found my interest in public speaking and my passion and skill in this field. After I went through the manifestations of believing in myself, and I believe that I can look at things differently and act in accordance with my mindset. After I believed in myself that I can contribute something new, I utilized it. I utilized my passion in public speaking to break down all of the motivations that I am giving to you guys today. And that is to become an innovative youth in your own way, to manifest and to act. So the question is, ladies and gentlemen, if you believe that you are a huge, great, amazingly skilled elephant, would you ever let this small rope of your own bad, negative mindset upon yourself and your belief due to your failures to tie you and imprison you in the limitations of your mindset? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Deborah. Please give an applause for our participant. And now we will be moving on to the Q&A session.
Yes. Hello, Deborah. Am I audible?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for your speech. It's actually, the story is quite a familiar one to me. So I actually have got this question actually. So you talked about manifestation and how
I'm sorry, Arjun is freezing. I'm sorry, Mr. Arjun.
Oh, okay. No, it's okay. Chill. We'll just wait till, okay. How about now? Am I clear?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So for most people, that rope is a cultivation, is an amalgamation of years and years and years of trauma, failure, difficult times. How would you best suggest that people who go through such horrible events time and time again actually let go or remember that that rope is actually more of a mindset problem or something that is not too hard to overcome in reality? How would you best remind people of that? Thank you.
Okay, so to repeat your questions, how can I possibly remind people how the rope is practically not as hard as it seems to be?
Yes, because in people's minds, it's actually like it looks like a huge mountain to climb. It looks like something impossible. But how would what would be the best reminder for people to keep in mind that it's actually possible or it's easier than it seems?
Okay. So, okay. So that is a great questions. So one thing that we can't ever deny, especially the fact that we are still a young person, is that struggles come always constantly in a consistent basis. Sometimes we think of applying to a new job and then we get rejected, and then we thought, that's it. That's a no for me. I'm going to move on to the next field of interest. But sometimes it also takes perseverance. It always takes us to persist through all of these problems so that we can deserve that particular goal of ours. Because you have to keep in mind that sometimes when you think of the rope as too hard, ask yourself again, are you the only ones with the ropes? Are you the only ones that are competing in the competitions? Are you the only ones that are applying in this job? Are you the only ones that are giving this so many sacrifices in terms of energy and time and knowledges and financial expenses? No. There are so many people out there that are trying as hard as you are. So make sure that to invest in yourself on a consistent, on a never-ending basis. Because at the end of the day, you are not the only one fighting, but you are the only one that is in charge of whether or not your response and your actions determines you being on the top, you being in the position of the job that you wanted, you being in the position of the organizations that you wished to be. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Deborah. So you can stay in the main room to watch the other participant, but you mute your audio. Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so right now you will be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech, and then after that, you will have a Q&A session with the judge. Okay?
Okay.
And I remind you once again that there will be 3 that will indicate your time limit.
I'm sorry?
There will be 3 bells that indicate your time limit.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And the time will be started when you say the first word. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, the committee gave me a very good topic. They asked me, am I an innovative leader? I will say, yes, I am an innovative leader. How can I say that, ladies and gentlemen? First, let me tell you my story. I am the only son in my family. And it's a general fact that people know that the only son in a family must be pampered by his parent, by his family. But I didn't. My parents didn't do that to me. You know, they always teach me to always organize myself first, you know, to be an independent person. They always told me about a reward system. When you achieve something, that you can get something from them. That's what they thought from me when I was a child. My mom is also taught me always, you have to be a good leader to other. Give them a lot of benefit from yourself. And that's why I decided from the beginning of my school career, I want to be a leader. So ladies and gentlemen, why we have to become an innovative leader? Because in this era, in this innovative, in this creative era, we have to be someone unique, someone that can lead people to their destination, that have a good method to do something in different way. I start my later career when I was in a junior high school. I joined the OSIS, and I very enjoy that moment because I got a lot of friends, I got a lot of experience, and I got a lot of relation with the teacher and student. And finally, I become a chairman of OSIS in my junior high school. But in that day, I failed in one, and I'm struggle to face my fail, and I swear I will be a chairman again in senior high school, and I will, retaliate my mistake. And yes, in senior high school, I went to the office again and become a chairman, and then I doing so many things, and it's all done by good. I'm so happy. I get a lot of things. I get a lot of more experience, more friend, more relation, until in the university level. Now I'm a president of my English club, the Polytechnic Statistika English Club. And then I also become a leader to my Himpunan Mahasiswa Daerah in East Java. Why I want to take a lot of risk of that? Because I believe I need to be a good leader and I have a talent to do that. That's why I always take a risk. I always take it because I believe the chance doesn't come twice. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of benefit when we become an innovative leader, when we try to be a leader. Good friends, a lot of experience, a lot of relation, a lot of things that we cannot get in the classroom. I'm guarantee 100 million%. So I remind you that all of us need to be an innovative leader, and you have to try it step by step. And you have to take a risk, because everything in the world based on your risk, based on the thing that you do. Don't be afraid to fail. I'm struggling with my problem in the last few weeks, and my mom told me that if you fail, it's okay. Try again and again. Because a successful person is a, person who fail, but they always walk step by step and we walk ahead. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a favorite anime character. I love One Piece. I love Monkey D. Luffy. And Luffy always said that if you don't take a risk, you achieve nothing in this life. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Billy Alva Alvarisi. I'm from Polytechnic Statistika, STS. May the force be with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's give an applause for our participants. And now we will be moving on to the Q&A session.
Hi, Billy.
Hello,
Welcome
Miss.
to the dark side.
Okay, I'm a fan of Dark Side too, Miss.
Now, Billy, in the introduction of your speech that you mentioned, these days we have to be unique. The young people have to be unique. And your speech said something that we need to be leader. But the fact is, not all of the young people, not all of us can be a leader. There must be followers. So my question to you would be, do you think that by being a follower, we are not unique at all? Do we all need to be leaders? Or do you think that being a leader equals being unique, and why? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss, for the question. You know, I think they cannot be a two leaders or every leaders in this world. There can only be one leaders, and I think it's not equal to be a leader and to be unique. It's a different thing. What I mean in my speech is, if you become a leader and you have a unique thing, unique skills, you can compare everything. You can be everything in this era, because this is a creative era, creative economic era, everything based on this creative, the idea in the social media. If you can, run a company or something like that, and you have a creative mind, then I think you'll be a, like a good thing for your company, for yourself. I think that's all.
Okay, so Mr. Billy, you can stay in the main room to watch the next participant, but mute your audio. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the chance.
Okay, our next participant, are you here?
Yes, Kak.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Right now you will be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech. And then after that, there will be a Q&A session with the judge. And also I would like to remind you once again that there will be 3 bells that will indicate your time limit. Okay? Okay, good luck.
Okay. Judges, am I audible? Okay. Can I sit or should I stand up?
For me, it is up to you, as long as I can see your gestures and facial expression clear.
Okay. Okay. So, shall I start?
The time will be started when you say the first word.
Okay. For everyone that is watching this speech, let me ask you one question. If you have one wish to come true, what would it be? Well, all the committees, all the judges are here, very welcome to actually think and dream for whatever they want to be in the future. Well, you can be someone who becomes a businessman, or you can be someone who teach children in a street, or you can be anything that you want to dream. But the question is, does all your dream matter? Well, the answer to this question relies on the story that we need to realize that we are all a dreamer, and we love to dream everything that we want to dream. I can dream to be a fashion designer. I can dream to be a basketball player, and it is all the thing that I want to do and the thing that I like. But the question is, does that matter? Well, the answer to this relies on how the society actually construct us to be. I remember the very first time when I was a very little kid and I dreamed to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor because my mom said that in order for you to be contributive, in order for you to be an innovative someone in the future, you need to be a doctor because a doctor heals a patient. And started from the kindergarten up until senior high school, I always wanted to be a doctor. And I always think that being a doctor is the most innovative person that I could be. But in the other hand, my mom also tells me, you need to follow your dream. But in the other hand, she said, yes, your dream is to be a doctor. But then I started to think whether or not I really want to be a doctor. So I started to learn all about biology, all about medicines, all the things that I could do to join Olympiad and everything that I could have in that possible time. But then as time goes by, this is the moment when it was changing my life and I don't know. probably that was the last time I feel broken as possible. Because at the time, I finally realized that I was failed into becoming a doctor in SNMPTN. I failed to be a doctor in SBMPTN. And I failed to be a doctor in Jalur Mandiri. Well, these three things that have put me down into the lowest point of my life doesn't stop me to become the person who I am today. Well, if you might experience the same story when you want to go to your dream university or your dream vision or goals, you need to remember that there might be some positive impacts to your life from all the lessons that you get. Since then, I realized that I like to do public speaking. I love to tell story. I love to share people with all the things that I have, the experience, and everything that I could probably tell them that this is your life and your life is that meaningful. And through that, you can be as creative, as innovative, and as contributive as this is supposed to be. And I started to realize I have to follow my dream. And then I go to my university and become the IR students. I became the international relations students because I finally realized that I love to do sharing. I love to do public speaking. But then after I realized that this is my passion, it does not stop there. I finally realized that I have to do something with it. I have to strive to be more better, to be more influential in terms of my passion. And that is why I started to do speech competition. I started to increase my potential through joining organizations and becoming the spokespersons of so many organizations. I tried to be moderators. I tried to be speakers that influence people. I become the spokesperson for the children in needs in ISAC organization. I involved in the donations of youthable organization, and those are the things that I love up until today. Well, if you are in a stage where you don't know what to do, or if you are in a stage where you think that you are not contributive enough, you need to realize that when you want to be an innovative person, you need to firstly love the thing that you are doing. You need to understand why do you actually do your why. When you understand your why, it is the core value that you need to know in order for you to actually explore yourself. Because finally, when you understand the reason on why, what, and how do you do your action, you will reach that passion and you will reach that innovative level. We all need to understand that being innovative does not define by your environment. Being innovative is a blur definition. It is not when your mom tells you that you need to be a doctor so then you can be innovative. It's not only stop there, but it is when you can explore your potential, your experience, and all the things that you love to do. And that is why first thing we need to do in the innovative mindset is to actually understanding the why. The second thing is to also loving what you do through giving more into your potential, increasing what you have. For example, doing practices, doing all the things, coaching, and everything that you can to increase your potential. And I believe that when you already do all these principles, I believe that you can be the innovative millennials that you want to be. Don't let the other people define who you are and define how you should act, but realize that this is the path that you should choose to be comfortable and to be the person that is innovative. Thank you.
Okay. And now we'll be moving on to the Q&A session.
Yes. Okay. Hi. Hello, Ray. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
All right. First of all, as always, thank you for your speech. Now, I really like the little reminder that you give everyone that it's not only about your environment. I think that's something that a lot of people here in Asia have to deal with remembering that. But my question to you is, there are many of the people out there that were just like you. Yes, that they were told to be doctors or influenced to be doctors. But what about those that actually pushed through and followed through and didn't find out what they like and didn't know what they were doing was not actually what they didn't like? How would you suggest them to be innovative if they're already in an environment that they have invested so much time, money, energy in to surround themselves in, and yet it's a place that they don't actually want to be in? It's a place they're doing something that they don't actually love. Because you mentioned how to be innovative, you have to be doing something that you love. It really helps. It really helps that process. But what if you're already stuck? What if you ended up doing your medicine degree and you realize too late, or quote unquote too late, that you are not in an environment that you actually want to be? What is your suggestion to these people? Was my question clear? Sorry.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Before I answer the question, so is this like 3 minutes for one question, or there will be another question?
There's only one question.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, Ka Arjun, for the question. So we realize that we're living in a society where social construct exists. It means that when the people in your surrounding tells you that yes, you have to be like this and you have to be like that is real. So for example, when the society tells you you need to be masculine for you to be called as a gentleman, or you need to behave as a feminine if you want to be called as a beautiful girl. This is the society's idea to tell you that you need to be a doctor if you want to be called as a successful person. And this is what many people think that they should do. Well, if you ask me what if you realize too late, if you already become the student of medicine, but then you don't find your passion there? Well, the answer to this relies on the question and the fact of that how then in the society, the people that graduates from the medicine is really becoming a doctor, or how many people that comes from IR's international relations major actually become the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia, or become the people in the governmental organizations. So basically, we are now realize that many people, even though they are in, let's say, in mathematicians or becoming all the academicians, when they graduate, they might not be the person that they learn to be in that 4 years of study. So they might pursue their, let's say, becoming a businessman, or they might have a startup or anything that they want to do. So if they realize it too late, I think that there's nothing called too late for anything in this world, because then if you want to try and if you want to do more in that, I think that you will be able to dig down your potential and the things that you love. And for me, I perhaps spent all my 18 years into studying biology, but then I didn't become a doctor. So I spent more than half of my life to study biology, but then I didn't get the thing that I want to do in that time. So then I think that there is no time called late for everyone, as long as you want to try to dig your potential. But then secondly, what should we do? When we want to change ourselves, I believe that we have the self-driving factors that motivates us inside of ourselves to reach that goals, to reach that bubbles of happiness. So when you are in this comfort zone where people tell you to be A, B, C, and D, you need to go out from this comfort zone. And I believe that even though it is very, very, very hard, you need to step out from that and going through the process. Because then if you want to make a pure gold, you don't find a gold in anywhere else. You find a gold being burned, being molded, being cut into becoming a piece of pure gold. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And now you may stay in this main room and watch the next participant, but mute your audio. Thank you.
Thank you.
For our seventh participant, are you here?
Of course, Kak.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
So right now you will be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech, and then we will be continue to Q&A session with the judge. Okay, and after that, once again, I would like to remind you that there will be 3 bells that indicate your time limit. Okay, and the time will be started when you say the first word. Good luck.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, madam and Mr. Speakers, thank you for your time. I'm glad to be able to deliver my speech in front of you all. My name is Alakurata Ayun as a student at State Polytechnics of Subang. Ladies and gentlemen, in this nice occasion, allow me to deliver a speech entitled Being an Innovative and Creative Leader. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's jump to the first point of my speech about the importance of leadership. One of the reasons why leadership becomes important is because the role becomes increasingly competitive, and there are huge changes in every aspect of life. As the result, a sense of leadership is needed to face these challenges in order to survive in the new environment. Many challenges are faced by leaders to lead their devotees. One of the most difficult things to solve is managing the changes in their territory. Ladies and gentlemen, this is probably a story that can explain us how the role of leadership can control the situation. In 1958 to 1962, no less than 43 million Chinese people died due to the famine. At that time, China became one of the poorest countries in the world. Finally, in 1987, Deng Xiaoping led China. Under his direction, reforms occurred in every aspect of life, ranging from politics, economic, and social life. He is the one who reformed Chinese economy, become one of the world's economic giants. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened with China's reform gave us a lesson as young generation to be able to become a leader that can make some new changes in this era. Therefore, we as the next agent of changes must have sense of leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving to the second point of my speech about the power of innovation and creativity. Ladies and gentlemen, one of great leaders, John Quincy Adams, mentioned that if your action inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that to be a good leader is not easy. There are many challenges that must be faced. Ladies and gentlemen, you must know that Apple Company and his owner, Steve Jobs. As we know that Apple Company has a critical condition where the company is almost bankrupt. But Steve Jobs, with his creativity and innovative, he changed the situation. He changed in every aspect of the company policy, ranging from production plan, established cooperation, and simplification of each staffing arrangement. Ladies and gentlemen, from this, as the result, he could bring a lot of food and profit to the company. Ladies and gentlemen, to be a good leader is not easy. We can inspire Deng Xiaoping and Steve Jobs, who can lead their people to glory. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, by everything we have, we should be able to innovate creatively anywhere, anytime, in every aspect of life. From no less to the best for our life. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving to the conclusion. Innovation and creativity are the answer to survive in this era. We should know that to be an innovative, to be a good leader, we should have the ability to innovate creatively. Ladies and gentlemen, from start from now, let's do the best for our life, and because timeless legacy is a real behavior to be a reflection for our generation. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, Madam and Mr. Speakers, thank you for your nice attention. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay,
Thank you so much. Let's give an applause for our participant. So right now we will be moving on to the Q&A session with the judge.
Hi, Salwa.
Yes.
Salwa, I like that you talk about being an innovative young leader by coming up with these two, I think, public figures. That was a good example. But then again, because your topic is about I'm an innovative young leader. And in your first example, Deng Xiaoping, he led China when he was 83 years old. He was no longer youth. So maybe can you give an example of another public figure or someone you know closely who you think are an innovative young leader that is more relevant to the topic? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss. For example, for Mark Zuckerberg, we all knew he and I really inspired of his life from story that he dropped out for his colleague Harvard University, but he can by his ability to innovate creatively, he can make Facebook bigger than we can see nowadays. And I mean Mark Zuckerberg, he is the great people that we as the young leader should have the ability to innovate creatively like him. Of course, that's all of me. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Salwa.
Okay, thank you, Salwa. And now you can stay in the main room to watch the next participant, but please mute your audio. Thank you. Miss Nabila, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, so right now you will be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech, and then we will continue to Q&A session with the judge. And also, I would like to remind you once again that there will be 3 bells that will indicate your time limit. Okay? And the time will be started when you say the first word. Okay? Good luck.
Thank you. 10th of November has passed, right? Our Heroes Day. But are we also a hero? Ladies and gentlemen, in this 5.0 era has actually upgraded loads of new things around us. I mean, it's quite amazing to see how the world will change and upgrade into loads of flying cars and robots all around, right? Like we know, like recently, there is a talking robot called Sophia, who is invented by David Hansen and has been invited in many shows, like for example, with Jimmy Fallon. And so she can talk, sing, give an opinion, and also collaborate with more peoples. So this seems like it has already become futuristic in the present. Now, in this era, we can see that the technology side has already been upgraded too, as the hardware and the software. For example, new gadgets like the iPhone 12 that's out there for Apple's, right? Although, if you realize that all of these actually comes from a developed country. I mean, how about Indonesia? Our name is still a developing country, where on grammar, an additional gerund on the subject or on the verb ing, which is developed, means that Indonesia is still ongoing for getting the name of developed. And this name stayed 75 years. So how are we not saying to our neighborhood country like Singapore, who's declared their independence on 1965, 20 years after us? Where did we go wrong? We have our islands, rich natural resources. Why can't we be like them too? And so the problem is actually us, the human resources. You see, our education is still in the lack side, which is on the 78th and 79th rank, which then made us do something on a bad abuse or even criminalization for physical abuse. And so added up with technology, made it them upgraded their negativity of this kind of problem. So how can we be creating flying cars when we are still busy and playing fun with TikTok, especially during this quarantine? And so our position on our youth side is very low to gain the nation's position. So how do we get back in track and also be the same position as them too? First, create. Now, in order to create, this can change negativity into positivity. And so in our era, we can be creating new strategies of studying. You can innovate some hardware or software things like machines or even online robots, and you will definitely become a technopreneur. And so changing these problems of TikTok and also gameplay like Among Us, we can now eventually use our hands for positivity. So why not we become a spotlight for everyone? Second, that is, we have to connect widely. And so since we are very distant with one another in person, we can't meet and talk to them, right? And so we use this platform, which is Zoom, Skype, Google Meet, to connect others. So why not we also connect other people in other parts of Indonesia or even the world? I know it sounds crazy, but there are loads of conference and web seminars out there, paid or even free, that's about to be joined from participants on all parts of the world. We can see that from Instagram. So why not we seek and experiment that seminars and conferences to gain our ability in business, leadership, or even public speaking? Ladies and gentlemen, so from all those that I explained above, that was actually the 2C on the ways to regain your podium on the position towards the world, and also to regain your self reputation in front of the world. Therefore, we were meant to be young heroes to save our nation. So why not we save this country now or never? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nabila. Let's give an applause for our participant. And now is the Q&A session.
Hello, Nabila. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
And as always, thank you for your speech. First, I have to commend you that your preliminary speech was titled Two L's, I think, and now it is you named it Two C's. I think that's very creative to have a similar theme. So good work on that. But I must say or comment. So this question is basically a comment. The advice you gave when it comes to people here, Indonesians, I believe would only be accessible to the privileged more so than others. Because we have to acknowledge that a majority of our population is still living in conditions that I would say is less than satisfactory. How would you say that these people also achieve such growth that you mentioned? Thank you very much. Is my question clear, by the way?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
Thank you, Kak. Okay, so on that kind of situation, we have already understand that there are some people who actually aren't provided facilities well on this situation, especially during quarantine. So then these people in the village means that they can't innovate? No, they can do it in order to use some hardware or even do some creativities on machines or add up new things out there on this kind of program or situation. And so with even looking our environmental, like the popular plants called Monstera, that's like the time or the place for them to re-upgrade their agriculture on their environmental. So that's why in this situation, they can still have a way to find their environmental needs and try to upgrade them too.
Thank you, Nabila.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nabila. And now you can stay in the main room to watch the next participant, the UNJ. Thank you. Okay, our next participant, are you here? Hello.
Hello.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
So right now you will be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech. And after that, there will be a Q&A session with the judge. And
Okay.
before that, I would like to remind you once again that there will be 3 bells that will indicate your time limit.
Okay. Oh, wait. I'm adjusting my camera. Can you clearly hear me and see me? Can you see all
Yes.
my flaws? Okay, cool.
Okay. So the time, when you say the first word.
Okay.
Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. Who here feels like if they show themselves to the world, if they show themselves to society, they will be rejected, neglected, or even denied by society, by their group of friends? Because I certainly do. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there is this theory. It's called the dramatism theory. It is stated that in this theory, there are two sides to every person. The one they show to the public, the front stage, and the one they hide to themselves, the back stage. Now, when they go on to the front stage, they put on a mask to show their selves, to show this hallucination, to show that they are better than who they actually are. But when they go backstage where no cameras are shining, where no eyes are on them, they turn into a different person. Now, this theory suggests that if we show what we have been hiding from society, we won't be as accepted. Because, truth be told, and let's all be completely honest, when we are alone, when we are in our house alone, we dance to the weirdest music, we hear the weirdest music, we even wear the weirdest clothes because we feel like that is us. And that bird behind me completely agrees. He was dancing to the joy of my voice. You see, ladies and gentlemen, ever since I was a child, I was deemed as different. It's because I don't have the same social construct like they do. I don't walk like they do. I don't dress like they do. I don't even spend my money the way they do, but that is the group that I'm in. I was deemed as different. I was deemed as weird. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, what they said in the past changed me to who I am today. I hid the true me and arise me as this phoenix wannabe that always wants to be the best, that is a public speaker, that wants to show their charisma, to show the world that, hey, please accept me. Now you see, ladies and gentlemen, being original, being you is innovative on its own self, because innovative has its own meaning. The definition of innovative is different from one another. What I think of innovative is if someone dresses how they want to, if someone created a weird doll, if someone did their hair weird or different, that's innovative because they are being themselves. You don't have to change the world with your products. You don't have to end world hunger to be innovative. You don't have to start globalization. Ladies and gentlemen, being yourself is the best innovation you can ever be. So if you want to go out right now and wear a tuxedo while wearing a tutu, then go for it. Because you create your own innovation. You create your own definition. Be you, be different, be unique. That's the whole concept. That's the whole idea. You may see me as weird because I'm very upfront about it. But ladies and gentlemen, if you've been through this scenario where you are scared of not being accepted, then you get where I'm coming from. But ever since today, ever since the past 2 years, I've been putting on my sunglasses to block out the haters, and I am me. Ladies and gentlemen, I am my own definition of innovation. I am my own definition of innovative. Ladies and gentlemen, every single one of you in this world, regardless of what you do and where you are from, your innovation, your definition of being an innovative millennial depends on you. Never let anyone distract or cloud what you and your bright future want to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, let's give an applause. Okay, so it's time for the Q&A session.
Yes.
Hi, Rinata.
Hi. You can call me Gustav if it's easier.
Okay. Hi, Gustav. What was that again? I was going to say something, but then now I forget. Oh yeah, are you actually a millennial or are you Gen Z?
Is this the question or is this?
No. This is not the question.
Because okay, so like the whole debate of millennial and Gen Z is different, but I consider myself as a Gen Z and a millennial for the future. Because again, millennial are the future makers.
All right. Now, Gustav, I think
Yes.
it's interesting that you kept saying how you are sort of the purple cow, I think, of the society. Yeah.
Okay.
And you kept saying that, always be yourself, but be in your own ways, being
Yes.
innovative in your own ways.
Yep.
But maybe what I would like to ask is give me more like examples on what makes you actually weird. You kept saying that you are weird
Okay.
in your own ways, but what actually makes you weird?
Okay.
I think that's the question from me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the question. And have you ever seen anyone during a speech competition wearing sunglasses that doesn't even match their face? Nor does it match their eyes, nor does it match their body. But that's it. But that is what I'm trying to show to the world. That be different, be unique, and you can be a better version of what you think you are. Because if you want to have another example, a past example of what I did, when other people were focusing on sport when they were a child, sport was not my first choice of hobby. Believe it or not, I've always loved knitting, making those crochet, but please don't ask me to do one right now because I've lost all touch and skills to do so. But yes, those are the things that I've always done as a child, and I was bullied for it. So the idea that you can be a great you, the idea that you can be your own self without having the fear of being judged and refused and denied by the world, by the society, is what makes you a unique, creative, and innovative individual.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Kamsahamnida. Welcome to Shushite.
Okay, thank you so much. So you can stay in the main room to watch the next participant,
Yep.
and please mute your audio.
Okay,
Thank
thank you, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so right now you will be given 6 minutes to deliver your speech, and after that, you will have a Q&A session with the judge. And also, I would like to remind you once again that there will be 3 bells that will indicate your time limit. Okay? And the
Okay.
time will be started when you say the first word. Good luck.
Thank you. All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Anik Fitriani from Islamic State University of Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung. I'm here to deliver a speech about be innovative in my own way. I think the first step to be innovative is study more. I mean, educate ourselves is the most important one because when we have a thought or when we about to create something, we need a knowledge to underlie the thought. And then the second one is learn the new technology. According to our characteristic, millennial generation are tend to be more curious, tend to be more up to date to the new technology. So that can be our asset to make a new innovation. And then another one is the big aware of opportunity for improvement. I have three three ways to create to be innovative. it's A, B, C. A is a language. I think language is the most important asset for us to spread our perspective, our thought, our knowledge to other people, and to make Indonesia as a as a better country. As we all know, Indonesia is a developing country, and I personally think I really want to make Indonesia as a developed country. And how to do that? The important one is that we have to know the millennial generation youth is believed as a generation that can be raise the nation, because it's uh, it is according to our characteristic, as I said before, as I mentioned before. We are curious, we are up to date, we are confident, and tend to be more tolerant to differences. And another one is be open, be curious. It can be what is it? We can make it happen by the knowledge that we have. When we have the knowledge, we will always be curious about what should we do next and what can we change. How if I do this? How if I do that? Like what would happen if I change it? I mean the subject, the system, or the social relationship. And then what would I change of or improve about this object if I wanted to use it in 10 years? I think all those ifs can be answered if we have enough knowledge to answer it. And then the last one, that is the C, is continuously improve. We have to see the opportunity for um, our improvements, because how can we do all that ideas that we have if we never do an improvement, if we never try to improve it? And then I think it can be easy for us because um, if we if we involve other peoples who can support us to survive, and um, if we are afraid to take a big thing, we can start everything from a very small thing. For example, we can start it from ourselves. Like as I said before, educate ourselves is really important. So the first step uh, to make ourselves be more innovative is that we have to absorb as many knowledge as we can, and then um, after that we can try to execute it and make it happen, and then try to prototype it. Like we make an example, we make a product or a sample of our innovation. um, Other than that, we also like this, the support of the people behind us is really important. Is really important because if we have no support, then we'll feel like um, it will make us less motivated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's give an applause.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now it's the time for the Q&A session.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
Am I clearly audible?
Yep.
All right. So in your speech, you give us these three things on
Mm-hmm.
to improve and how to be innovative.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would like to hear a little more from you, because about your personal use of these three things, or at least one of these things, on how it helped you personally. Because it's a bit, I think it would help enhance your it would help enhance my understanding from your speech to have your own personal input. So if you could just help me with that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So like how I applied it to myself?
Yes, give me if you could give me an example on how these things are, you know, part of
Yeah, okay.
you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the first is like a language. I as a literature student, I use language a lot. Like, and according to the technology that we have right now, we can easily spread our knowledge through social media. And for example, I can um, make Wattpad or sort of things to um, what is it, like acknowledge people from what I know, and then encourage them um, to optimize their ability. And then the B, be curious, be open. I think I'm applied to myself whenever like I see a new technology or a new application. I'll be really curious to like I'll be curious and try to figure out how that advice or application works, and try to and start to think like how can I use this in 10 years, like how can I use this in 10 years, yeah, in 10 years. And then the C, continuously improve. Actually, the opportunity for us to continuously improve is really large. It's massive. Like we can um, totally improve our ability everywhere, because according to the technology that we have right now, I think there is no excuse for us to say that, oh, I can improve my ability because I don't have the media or something like that. I don't think it's possible because the media is everywhere. So I hope it answers your question. Thank you.
That would be all. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Anita.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, that was our last participants. Let's give an applause to all of you who did a great job. Okay, thank you. Right after this, we would like to hear a few words from our judges and maybe some advice or feedbacks to our participants. And if the participants have a question, you may write it down to the chat box or unmute your microphone and ask the question directly. For the judges, the time is yours.
Give me a minute. I'm still inputting the score. Just a sec. All right, so this is general feedback session, right? All right. First of all, to all of the participants, I would like you guys to give yourselves a big round of applause because these were some really good speeches. So kudos to all of you. And yeah, hopefully I see you in future competitions. Just keep competing, just keep trying, and just keep doing the thing that you love, all right? So some general feedbacks and comments would be, if possible, arrange your webcam so that you can get your facial expression and your hand gestures clearly. So because body language and hand gestures are part of scoring, so it would be easier for us to judge as well. A second thing that I would like to advise is that when it comes to public speaking and when it comes to competitions in particular, you know you're competing against other people, and you know that most of the time you'll get similar or the same topics. And one way to leave a good lasting impression would be to be different or as unique as possible. Now, if you have two people that are quite relatively similar, but they're very different from the rest of the eight, I think that would highlight those two people on a pedestal far. It would be easier to categorize them as better or as creative or as unique, especially if they can still tackle the question or topic in an appropriate manner. Another thing that I would suggest is that stop with or I know that you learned this in school and university probably, that whenever you do speeches in front of your class or teachers, lecturers, that you're told to say, good morning, you should have greetings, you must be very, very respectful. But when it comes to public speaking, me personally, I would prefer if you imagine you're talking to a crowd or you're talking to an audience. We know who you are because we have your name list. We know from which university you are. We know what topic you're going to talk about. All of that has been given to us by the committee, and we know what time of day it is. It is a good morning and now a good afternoon. So there is no need for that. The opening should be focused on creating a good first impression as well as grabbing the audience's attention. Because in times, or in most times, when you are giving a speech, if we are not judges and we are not supposed to listen, then a lot of the times you can lose your listeners within the first few seconds. So it's very important to get their attention right from the beginning. As well as closing. Closing is a very important tool to use to wrap up your speech. And it's usually the place where people use or where people introduce their message or their reminder or whatever they want to say or whatever the purpose of their speech is for the very first time. They put it in the last few paragraphs of their speech or the last minute or so. So you want to make sure that you highlight your message so that whoever is listening can remember the lesson or the message when they go home after the speech. When after all is said and done, let's say after the Zoom meeting, and I'm going to have lunch with my family. After that lunch, I want to make sure that I still remember the valuable things that you guys shared with me. So using your closing to highlight and emphasize your message, as well as use specific ways, like maybe quotes, maybe use analogies to deliver that message in creative ways, would be a strong way for us to keep it in mind for a very long time, probably a few days or even weeks after the competition. I think when it comes to general feedback, that's mostly it. I will be giving you all personal feedback through the Excel sheet or through the score sheet, through the committee, and I'll be giving them my personal number to give to you in case anyone has any further questions that they want to ask. I think I will pass it on to Ka Sabrina.
Okay, thank you, Arjun. I think I will just add several things, not much actually, just some highlights. The first one is the good action speaks louder than word. Emphasize how important it is, a body language, how important a body language is. And I do agree with Arjun's statement before that always make sure that we can see your facial expression and your hand gesture. But then again, I feel like sometimes or sometimes, yeah, some contestants just use way too many hand gestures that it became distracting. So I think it will be much effective and much nicer if you try to use the hand gestures or use the gestures in general only if it serves you a purpose. If you keep doing this, it become a little bit distracting and, save energy for something else. And then the second one is, let's talk about the environment, your environment for a while. So it doesn't actually affect your scoring, but then again, sometimes when, for example, I think I noticed one contestant actually stand up, she or he stood up and then I think use a headset, something like this, and it kind of ruined the hand gesture because he or she kept adjusting it. So that in a way affected the body language, the body gesture. It seems like because it's birds chirping in the background, I have that too right now. And it was creative that one of the contestants can manage to respond to that sound. So I think when it comes to the environment, it is something that you can actually manage before. You can prepare maybe if your bedroom is not very suitable as a place to deliver a speech, maybe you can try to find something else outside or something else, something somewhere comfortable for you, because if your background noises is too loud, maybe the judges or the audience, the crowd might not be able to listen to you. In a way, it can affect the performance. And then the third one is the key messages. I think Arjun already emphasized the importance of a summary closing, and I think sometimes some contestants, they have a very good key points. They come up with these several ways or steps or tips and tricks on how to be an innovative leader, how to be an innovative youth. But then somehow the key messages was a little bit too short, and the introduction and the greeting took up too much of the time. Remember that you only have 4 until 6 minutes. Focus on the key messages. The introduction is only introduction. It is only supposed to be, it's only supposed to introduce your key messages. So try to balance it between the introduction, the body, the key messages, the most important thing, and then the conclusion. And the transition as well. I think I noticed some speakers, they had this kind of little bit awkward transition, maybe kept saying ladies and gentlemen too many times, or you don't have to say when, perhaps when you go into your conclusion, you don't have to say, and my conclusion is something like that. You don't have to say it explicitly, try to say it implicitly. That would be much nicer. And one last thing actually. I noticed that at least 3 speakers, they had their opening by asking the audience something, a way to engage the audience. That was actually really nice. However, 2 of the speakers, even though they asked the audience, they didn't actually pay attention how the audience responded. One speaker did, but 2 others didn't. So the question actually served less purpose. It would be nice if you perhaps ask the audience a question, maybe how many of you blah 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 do this, how many of you did this. You paid attention to the screen, how many of the audiences raised their hand, respond to that, or it will be just, I think, meaningless, the question. And that's all from me. I hope it's helpful. I will give the control back to the MC.
Okay, is there any question from the participant for our judges, or is it clear?
I do have one question, if it's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I think, thank you for the feedback, first of all, Judge Arjun and Judge Sabrina. But what I do want to ask is that Judge Sabrina mentioned about how you should pay attention to the audience when asking a question. But in this case, since it's online and we are the spotlight, we can only see like 4 people or 3 people. We can't, I don't think we have time to scroll over, you know, uh, the other viewers. What do you suggest about that? Maybe what we can do.
Can I answer it immediately?
Yes, go ahead, please do.
Actually, that was a very good point because now we are in an online setting, and sometimes some speakers they might speak a little bit further away from the screen, so it might be a little difficult to scroll the screen. It will be a little bit difficult. So my humble suggestion is perhaps first ask yourself if the question is actually essential to the speech, and the second one, if you still want to use the question, or if you think it's still essential and will engage the audience, you know, you can actually put the format into a gallery view, and some of the speakers, not speakers actually, some of the attendants here or some people here actually open their camera. You can see in a split second if they raise their hand or they have this reaction on their Zoom, like doing this thumbs up or something like that. You can see in a split second, because I noticed one of the speakers actually, she or he could manage to notice that. So that is one way. The second way, I think maybe, you know, just give a response, at least give a response. Maybe you can say, I'm sure that some of you, or I'm sure that many of you have done this, have experienced this. At least give a response to that, so that the question at least serves a purpose. Thank you. That's my opinion. I hope this is helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for the participant and Sabrina. Is there any question from other participant? I think there's no question.
I would like to add actually a small bit of advice from personal experience. Um, so to all the participants, you have to understand that again, this is an online competition that is quite different from offline. And when you want to show your intonation, when you want to show your expression, your facial expression, sometimes it may be a bit harder when you're talking to a camera or talking to a screen. So one of the personal things that I force myself to do is force myself to be agak, how you say, you know, lebay. And sometimes I would hate myself. Sometimes I'd be like, I'm disgusted at myself. But how it translates on the screen of the person watching is not as bad as you think. Now, there is overdoing it. And I'm sure you guys can, over time, after practice, you can find out what works and what doesn't by recording yourself. But I think there's something that some people feel that maybe I was expressive enough, but through the camera, it doesn't show. So I would suggest, while preparing for future online competitions, record yourself on a webcam, record yourself on your phone camera as well, and see how expressive you really have to be for it to show on screen. That's just like one extra tip.
Okay, thank you, Karjun, for the answer. And if you guys have the question for the judges, you have the chance now to ask.
I have a question.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
So, Judge Sabrina mentioned about don't say conclusion, like try to say it implicitly, and I personally still find it really hard to do it like that. So I need some advice for it. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Annika. Well, it's not just, I mean, it's not just about saying in my conclusion, blah, 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 but I noticed that there are several other transitions that are way too explicit, but then sometimes explicit transition works in a way, like perhaps when you deliver your points, the first is second and third, that makes it things clear, but then sometimes like saying perhaps this, like, oh yeah, in my conclusion, something like that. You can perhaps replace it with several other transitions that are implicit. Honestly, I think this is something that I'm still learning as well. So, just perhaps find several other words or statements.
I'd like to add on to that, if I may. Yeah. So personally, this is a technique I use. So there's such a thing as controlling the speed of how you speak. And when you usually get to your conclusion, it's different from your body because your body is a much larger mass of words. Yes. So when you have a much larger mass of words, you want to get through it slightly quicker. So I would say you would use your average speaking speed. Mine is about 140 words per minute per se, or 130 words per minute. But when I get to my closing, I usually bring that down towards 90 to 110 words per minute. I use more pauses. I exaggerate more words. I put more emphasis on the key points because that's where the key points are in my conclusion. So you don't necessarily have to say in conclusion. These are more type of informative speeches or reporting kind of speeches. But when you're in a motivational speech, very rarely, or humorous speech, very rarely do people like say the words that I'm going to end my speech by blah, 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 or in conclusion from what I said earlier, or sometimes even some people make the mistake of saying what I said above because that's something you write in text, but not, yeah. It can seem like it's more worthy of an essay than a speech. So I would say use your voice to show that you have reached your closing. That's something I do, and that's something I would suggest you to try.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer, judges. Is there any question?
Thank you so much, Judge Sabrina and Judge Arjun.
Is there any questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, we will move on to the next agenda. Thank you so much for the advice and feedback, dear judges. Everyone, please give an applause to our judges.
Okay, so now considering the time now, we have already reached the end of our event today. Tomorrow, all of us will meet again to celebrate the closing ceremony. So I hope that everyone will join our Zoom because we will also announce the winner for EXPO 2020 speech and essay writing competition. That's all from me and Cheza. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow.